Stop broadcast. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Laura.
I'm Chuck, and together we are cruising Lealea. Lealea is the name of our boat, by the way, and it's a Hawaiian word meaning happy, carefree, joyful, and perhaps a little bit crazy.
I don't think there's a better thing to describe us. I don't know. She suits us just fine.
Yeah.
So looks like we have one viewer on with us now. I think that might be Steven. Shut that off. It's going to start going, and then you're going to
I have to shut this off. It's the delay.
So it looks like either Steven or Zorn. 101
EST, maybe that's the thing, Eastern time.
Yeah. So we're still having a thing with the time changes.
It's, let's see, Hawaii is now 2 hours earlier because they don't go to daylight savings time. And the East Coast is on daylight savings time 4 hours later. So it should be, what, 5 p.m.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the best
5 p.m. Eastern
time and the best day to do this so we can get more folks joining in. It's Saturday afternoon and it's summer, and I'm sure everybody's out having fun on their boats. They actually should be. What are you doing here?
So we spent the morning, we volunteered at the Petersburg annual salmon derby.
34th annual
salmon derby. We've done that the last 3 years. This is our third time volunteering at the weigh-in station.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And actually the third fish caught, or third fish brought in, was a 48 or 45.8 pound
45
king salmon caught by a 13-year-old Madison.
You said she had a hard time getting it up on the scale?
Oh, it was all she could do to hold it up. I'm sure it's more than half her body weight.
Yeah. Big fish. Anyway, I didn't get a picture of it. It wasn't in the ice bin this morning.
No. Well, there's a picture of it on the KFSK website, kfsk.org, if you're interested in seeing a picture of Madison's 45.8 pound king salmon. It's a beauty.
And speaking of KFSK
Petersburg, once again, thanks for allowing us to use the production studio here at KFSK and their bandwidth to do this broadcast.
Be able to do this. We wouldn't be able to do it on the boat.
Wouldn't be able to do it without them.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that a lot, and hope you'll take a glance at kfsk.org and see what they're up to.
And there should be a fan funding button in the corner. We're doing this to kind of help bring awareness to KFSK and the amazing job that they do in the community with the community radio. So for the next 24 hours?
Yeah.
Any donations that you guys can put on the fan funding, that would be so much appreciated. Every little bit counts for the studio here to keep them on the air.
Yeah. And they're having some funding challenges this year. The state's cutting them back, and that endangers their federal funding, all that stuff. But run mainly by donations. And we're going to be doing a live broadcast like this from my radio program. I don't know if it'll be this week Wednesday, when I do the Street Beat program on Wednesday.
Probably the following week. We got some setting up.
Possibly this week. If I can manage it this week, we'll do it this week. But we're going to try to do it under KFSK's banner on their YouTube channel,
which is KFSK Community Radio.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
It'll be cool because under their banner, we can play the music. There's no copyright issues for them. Yeah. Like there are for us. So I'll be able to do my regular radio program in addition to having some people come in on live chat.
We're going to try and get some of the local fishermen to come in and tell some stories. I think that'll be really
Anyhow,
cool.
we hope to have some fun with that, and hope you'll take a look at it.
Yeah. And also we want to shout out to Lawrence.
What was his last name?
Lawrence Bowers.
Lawrence Bowers.
From Louisiana.
Yeah, from Louisiana. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, and KFSK does too. Thank you very much. So we got a few folks in with us. The chat is enabled. We're following
from Calgary, not far away, eh? But Frank doesn't have a boat.
Oh, and Glenn joined us. Hey, Glenn, good to see you here. Awesome. And hi from Houston, Texas, Southwest Florida. Calgary, Texas. Holy crow! This is every time. This is our third time here.
Third hangout. We're always surprised at how far away people come to visit. You probably walk all the way from the kitchen to the dining room table to log into your laptop or whatever.
But we've been talking to a few people here, and it's really hard trying to explain what this is. This is such a new medium, and it's really cool. What a great way to meet folks. And
well, we're having fun, and we hope you are too. We just wanted to make ourselves available because we know a lot of people have questions that maybe aren't answered directly. So, yeah. Small town life, living aboard. Wait, you had an agenda. I can't read it.
An agenda. I have an agenda.
She has a list of things that.
Well, we were going to talk a little bit about the Little Norway Festival, which was last weekend.
Oh, the Little Norway Festival. Yeah.
The herring toss.
We just
parade.
We just finished up the Little Norway Festival. Here's I'm gonna hold this picture up.
The way if you
Hometown newspaper. Laura's gonna have to guide me. How do I do this? Back.
There we go. Viking ship cruising through town. Okay. Yeah. That's the front page of the Petersburg Pilot. A lot of stuff going on in town, but
well, there's the Derby, of course, which is this weekend, is the big news coming up. And the police reports are always interesting. May 16th, for example, a possible DUI was reported to police. An officer responded and found no intoxication or presence of alcohol, just somebody acting funny. An officer conducted a traffic stop for a vehicle crossing the center line. The driver was found to be talking on a cell phone. No ticket issued. Officers observed approximately 20 intoxicated civilians exiting a Viking ship. Apparently no arrests were made.
Shoot.
It's small town. Usually the police report is mainly hunting and fishing violations, like
catching an extra king without
a tag, or shooting a moose out of season or something. So there's not much happening around here in the police reports.
Which is a good thing. That's why we enjoy it here. Let's see. I think we were going to talk a little bit today about living aboard, and I thought it might.
Yeah. Well, didn't Stephen? Yeah, Stephen had some questions that he sent in before we actually got started. So he wants to know, before you replace lifelines with line and not cable, what do you use and why? That's just I had a spool of 3-strand polyester rope, 3/8 inch diameter, and so I had it. Didn't have to buy it, therefore that's what I used, and it's worked out fine. We've had it on the boat now for, let's see, 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. We were just looking at it the other day, talking about
it's got a couple of chafe spots on it that so I'm just probably going to replace it this year. But I'll be doing it with the same material, except the rope I have is white, but otherwise it's just ordinary polyester. It does have some stretch. You have to get the stretch out of it, but it works fine. Double braid would work better, less stress, and something like StaySet X, which has a HMPE core, would be better yet because it won't stretch at all.
Yeah, so dead eyes and lanyards on that for snugging it up.
But it's a matter of what you have, what you can afford. What I did was just economical, and it works fine, and I think it looks good. So.
And you don't need any real fancy tools to crimp and cut.
No, just a marlin spike is all that. I think that's all I needed: a marlin spike and a knife. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, you had. How long did it take you to do those? It was about
couple days.
3 days.
Couple days.
Yeah. So not too long, not too complex, and I like them. I think they look good. So we had. Go down.
Okay, got to go down so I can catch the thing. Yeah, water maker. Yeah, water maker. Ours was about $3,000, and it's a Power Survivor 40E by Katadyn, and it works great. It works great. Like the hat. The hat is because of a lighting problem that we have. If I take my hat off, there's too much glare off my head.
We were setting
and
the
it makes a big
studio
white
up,
spot.
and I was like, why is it so white in here? So Chuck's relegated to wearing the hat. It might look a little odd. Shoot. So if anybody has any, I think the main topic today, well, you guys can ask any questions you want, certainly, but I think we were going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges of living aboard. And
yeah, and the biggest one, of course, is where do I put all my stuff? Because I moved out of a 3-bedroom house into a 1-bedroom apartment, and from the 1-bedroom apartment onto the 27-foot boat. The move to the boat was 1990, and I've been throwing stuff away ever since, pretty much.
Well, you said you had your collection of Star Trek tapes.
I must have had 100 VHF tapes, and those had to go. And
your wine
CDs were a partial solution, but the CDs have gone. And I had a freestanding corkscrew wine bottle cork remover, and like the kind they have in restaurants. It was really nice to have in the kitchen, and a wine rack, and and of course all the usual stuff, a TV, and in those days a big stereo set, and that kind of stuff. I had to get rid of, and books and books and books and books and books.
Well, we're still dealing with the books, I think.
And clothes. Well, you just have to be disciplined about it. Every time we get ready to go someplace with the boat, is a process of unloading
and
a few 100 pounds of stuff that we've accumulated.
Reorganizing. Yeah. Everything has to be stowed and in its place, and not laying out anywhere where it's going to go flying across. It's got to have a place to go, or else it doesn't come with us.
Have you ever lived aboard with children?
No. Well, no. Yes, Darcy.
Darcy. Well, he was he 16 or 15?
He was. I think he was 15 at the time. So that was our trip down the Pacific coast.
Yeah, we had a youngster on board for a couple of weeks, but that's
days.
It.
Yeah,
we know people who cruise with children. And you just have to have a bigger boat. They do have to have their own space, so you have to have a boat that's big enough for that. Well,
there were those guys that had the 2 kids.
The couple with 2 children that had a Vega, they did that for several years.
Yeah.
But they eventually got a big boat. And so, yeah, it's certainly something that can be done. And the kids I know, I've met a lot of kids, and having been doing this for a long time, I've seen them grow up into adults.
They're very respectful of space.
It seems to me it's a great way to raise children. They're very respectful of space. They're not wasteful of materials or food. It seems to me like it would be a good way to raise children on a cruising sailboat. Yeah. And of course, if you're traveling,
teach them to respect the environment and be aware of the environment.
Yeah.
I grew up in a city. This is the one thing Chuck always laughs about. I grew up in a city, not being conscious at all of north, south, east, west. Just no consciousness at all. I don't have a compass in my head. Drives me nuts. But I just no awareness of environment and the barometer and all of that stuff. And you have to pay attention to your environment to be aware if there's something bad coming, certainly. And just be aware and respectful. And I think growing up as a kid on a boat, being taught that, it doesn't get any better.
Well, there's certainly a huge difference in your outlook on life between people who grow up in the totally controlled and manufactured environment of a city versus those who grow up on farms or on the edge of the ocean where they're more exposed to nature. Yeah. No climate controlled areas to go to from if you live on a boat. Yeah. You're living in nature that way, and as opposed to, you leave the air-conditioned house, get in the air-conditioned car, go to the air-conditioned school or office, and then return without ever actually experiencing
the outdoors. And of course, in a city, you don't see the stars, and you're not aware of if it's a full moon or
the tides or any of that stuff. So yeah, I think it's generally a good thing. We have never actually done it, so. David wants to know, when we're sailing offshore in light air, why do we choose not to use some type of special light air sail, like, for example, a spinnaker, I suppose? The boat didn't come with one. It came with a big light Genoa that was pretty well blown out. So
we just
haven't. And, spinnakers are a pain to use unless you use them all the time and you're practiced at it. And we aren't. And so basically the reason we don't use some special light air sail is we're lazy and cheap. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to go to the trouble and I don't want to spend the money either.
Well, and when things go bad with those, they tend to go really bad. If you're not paying
So I've heard.
attention.
So I've heard. I have no firsthand experience. So
Wrapping around the forestay and all of that good stuff, we just don't.
We've heard their horror stories. That's yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more accurate and simpler just to say I'm too cheap and too lazy to deal with all the problems that the difficulties of using one of those things. But if you're in a hurry, and you want to get
if you're racing
downwind, if you're cruising and you want to get the very most out of your boat, I think that's what you're going to do. You're going to get, choose your sails and your gear with that in mind,
and know how to use them.
Yeah, and of course learn how to use them. So kids, my dad and his best friend brought 5 of us kids with them down the ICW from Groton for a 25-foot old wooden boat. Whoa.
Experience stuck with me. It would.
You say 7 people on a 25-foot boat?
That's cozy.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like fun. Wow. We've never, as far as sailing experience, Lealea is pretty much it. As far as your own boat, she's
I kept trying to get people to take me out sailing with them, and I had a friend Jerry, who had a sail. Jerry and Tim had this sailboat that they were partners in, and they used to go out every weekend. We worked together. Jerry and I worked together. Tim was a cop, and they got out, and I just pestered him into taking me with him, and I got invited regularly on those things. And the thing is, they never really sailed. It was just motoring out, dropping the anchor, drinking a bunch of beer, and then motoring back in again. So I didn't learn a whole lot. Didn't learn a whole lot, but had a lot of fun. That was the main thing. Didn't really do much sailing until I got my own boat in 1990s and taught myself how to sail, which I do not recommend, by the way. We both.
We've had a steep learning curve.
Yeah, we think the best way to do it is to take lessons.
Yeah.
So.
But every boat is different. No matter.
Yeah,
Endeavor was different than Spike, was different than our boat. That's different from all of the other boats we've ever been on. Each one has their own unique personality to them.
Good process of finding a liveaboard boat.
Start chatting with people and visiting their boats.
Yeah, walk around the marina. Can I see your boat? Can I look inside?
Do you live aboard?
Not everybody will let you look inside. In fact, a lot of people won't let you look inside.
Yeah, but you meet some great friends.
But you'll meet some great people that way. And then just living aboard.
Well, there's people that have told us you couldn't live aboard a 27-foot boat.
Yeah, and I tell them I wish someone had told me that 25 years ago. What's a good process of finding a liveaboard boat? Establish a budget and define the area you want to shop in. If you're open to shopping all over the world, you can do that, I suppose. But a good liveaboard boat. For some people, a good liveaboard boat is a 50-footer with a washer and a dryer and a shower and a sauna and
the utilities that you want. So for us, Lealea being a good liveaboard boat, we don't have refrigeration, we don't have a shower.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
And for most folks, that wouldn't be considered a boat that you could live on.
Yeah, if you're at the very starting point of it, I just go and sign up on SailNet, sailnet.com. It's a forum. And
or the Sailing and Cruising Forum on Facebook.
Or the Sailing and Cruising Forum on Facebook. Those 2 forums, and you'll have access to a knowledge base that covers the entire world and many decades of sailing experience. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do that, because without knowing exactly what you need to live aboard, I think I defined it. You need a place to cook, you need a place to sleep, and a place to sit while you're not sleeping, a separate sleeping cabin so that you don't have to, if you have people over, they don't have to sit on your bed. You need to have full standing headroom somewhere where you can stand up without ducking your head somewhere in the boat.
And if that's a pop top and you're happy with it being a pop top, so be it.
A sink, a cooker, a head, a bed, and a table.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I've seen people get in really tiny boats and live aboard for a long time.
Well, what was it that?
Well, Keith was living on a, what was it, a Cal 20 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just depends on what your tolerance levels are.
Get aboard different boats and take a look. You know.
Let's see, Juho, do you have space for guests to sleep? When we had Darcy aboard, I cleared the V berth forward, and then we have the one bunk in the main cabin to sleep on. But really, no, the boat is set up perfectly for Chuck and I.
Juho, do we have?
Darcy was with us for what, 10 days? Not even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was his first time on a sailboat, let alone being on that cozy of a boat.
Still haven't fixed all the damage.
Our young hero did break a few things.
He's a big kid for 15.
I treated it was.
Do we have? Are you answering this one?
Gym.
Is that the one you're?
Yeah, you have space for
guests. Well, we've had guests. We had Leah.
Yeah, we've had Leah aboard, but that was in.
Got to be real close
Hawaii
friends.
When she was able to sleep out in the cockpit with the awnings up. Let's see. The parties mentioned poo powder as their backup
to the bucket chucket when they're in a no discharge areas. Do you know of others with experience using poo? No, never heard of it.
Never heard of poo powder.
Never heard of it.
There's all sorts of products out there. I mean, you could. It's what the internet's for. You could Google forever, and there's so many products and so many different things, and they're regional.
Things like the Airhead, composting. I don't know how they work, but I've heard different stories about the composting type heads. And we just have a small holding, a porta potty with a small holding tank that we use when we can't dump.
And when we're in, tied up, we just go up to the head of the dock and use the facilities instead of having to deal with a pump out. Just have to change your schedule and be a little bit more willing to get up in the middle of the night. Stephen, what did Stephen say? He was cruising with four children on a Pearson 365. Holy crow. And I'll bet you're a much closer family for it too. Yeah, all the kids that we've met who've grown up on a sailboat are just so respectful of space and just great kids. It's just amazing. Those kids we met while we were in Anacortes, when we were making the apple cider. Those kids were great. Let's see.
How many people we have with us now?
Oh, we've got 21. Yeah. Got 21 people. Justin Erickson, currently in Colorado. Oh, you should hook up with Glenn. But have a plan anywhere we find a boat
may be fun. Best places to look for boats. Yeah.
Well,
any place but except California.
Yeah. I think it's a buyer's market. There's a lot of stuff out there.
Well,
fiberglass boats.
Towards the end of the season, it's always a buyer's market. You get the end of the season up in Washington, Northwest Washington, or I'm sure Florida. A lot of places where there's cruising boats for sale, and they pop up sometimes. There's a situation, and you can take advantage of it.
Or if they have the forfeiture docks at any of the marinas,
sometimes people there's a lot of boats that people just walk away from
and pick up for a couple $100
if you're willing to clean them up. Yeah. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and you can put yourself in the right place. You just have to go down to where the boats are. You have
to have the funds to be able to jump on it.
And you have to have the money to jump on it. Yeah. But we've come across so many.
Oh, we've seen some great deals in our travels, but still nothing yet that's made us want to sell Lealea. That's for certain. Zoom boats do seem cheap at the moment. Yeah, I haven't seen any papers. There's not too many boats for sale.
We're not shopping.
Yeah, and certainly in this area, there's not too many boats. Most of the boats that come available here are fishing vessels.
Yeah,
and that's not our not
No.
our forte. What else do we got? Let's see. Well, we're going to just talking about living aboard a little bit more. Showers. If you choose not to have a shower on board, you have to be willing to deal with the public facilities that are available and not be too fussy about it. I think the only time where I flat out refused to go in a shower was in Crescent City. Wouldn't even take my coat off in that bathroom. That was.
I hear have they rebuilt that yet from the tsunami?
I don't know, but have not heard. I have not heard. I hope they have, considering it's the only safe harbor.
Yeah, it's a port of refuge with no bar that you can get into without having to cross the bar.
Let's see, Juho. How cold weather
can you tolerate when living aboard in Alaska? The coldest we've had to tolerate is getting down to about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe a little bit cooler than that, but not much.
Gone down to 14 maybe that first year we were here.
Yeah,
but
it's on the boat, and that's with both of our heaters going. It was okay. It was comfortable. We managed to keep the boat around 65 or higher.
Yeah, 65 to 68.
Yeah, which is pretty comfortable for us. And we have one 5,000 BTU electric heater that we run off AC power when we're at the dock, and we have one 5,000 BTU alcohol heater.
The Heater Pal.
Yeah, the Heater Pal from Origo.
And then if in backup, we just turn on the stove, our cook stove.
Yeah, the cook stove. You can always fire up the cook stove and let it run to heat up the air.
Boat's small enough that it's so easy to heat, and it doesn't take very long for it to get oppressively warm in there. But our first crossing, all we used for heat was the two lamps, the two oil lamps, and that wasn't
quite enough.
It was tall. It would have been nice to have it a little warmer, yes, but we spent the whole time bundled in sleeping bags and stuff in the cabin. But that whole trip, you were pretty much in the bunk the whole time anyway. Sick.
Yeah. So. Only the first half.
What?
23 days. It was a 55-day trip. I was only seasick for 23.
It sure seemed a lot longer.
Only 23 days.
It sure seemed a lot longer than that to me. Well, actually, you had just gotten better when the weather started getting worse. That's what it was. You were sick during all the good weather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it started turning crap.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Let's see. Cheapest deodorant on the market. And douse yourself with baking soda. What fuel do you use in your stove, and how do you handle odors?
We use denatured alcohol in our cooker and our heater, and there's not much odor that we can detect, just a little bit.
And the lamps, you can get the odorless lamp oil, but it's so expensive.
You can use what is it? Clean Power, KLEEN, or Crystal Pure or something. Lamp oil.
Pure.
You just want the purest kerosene lamp oil. It's all a kerosene-based stuff, and then mineral spirits will burn very brightly in an oil lamp also, but it has fast. An odor.
Yeah,
it has an odor,
and that'll give you a headache.
And
but the stuff we use doesn't, and we've never had issues with that.
Not really, no. But we do have a very good ventilation system too. Yeah. Our main vent forward pulls 1,500 cubic feet per minute through the boat. So, that stuff is getting eliminated. The fumes and stuff are getting eliminated pretty quickly. Yeah. But no, we don't have an odor problem that I know of.
And that's actually another point of living aboard too, is talking a little
keep it clean.
Ventilation, keeping the moisture down inside the boat, getting that airflow through. Let's see. Wasn't the bananas?
Oh no, the bananas. It's bad luck to bring bananas on a boat. That's what the fishermen in Hawaii always said. Bananas on the boat are bad luck. And so that's our little joke that the bananas brought us bad luck on that trip. Anyway.
Got to blame it on something, right? Why not that? How about LED lamps? We do actually have some LED lamps in the main cabin.
It would be more accurate to say we have one incandescent bulb in the boat, because of the 3 cabin lights, only one of them has an incandescent bulb. The other 2 are both LEDs. All the exterior lights, all the navigation lights are LED lights. So yeah, LED, way to go.
But I'm thinking about the bicycle LEDs that we have on the handrails.
Yeah, we have those frogs. I think they're called frogs, and they run with a 2032 battery, and single LED lights in different colors. So we have red ones and white ones that are independent from the boat's power system, and they're little bicycle lights, 1 LED bicycle marker lights, and they fit over the handrails
perfectly
in the main cabin. So rather than use the main cabin lights that are real bright, you can just hit one of those. Like when we do change watches and what have you, just
one of those red LEDs will light up
plenty bright enough to change clothes and get ready to go on watch, and without destroying your night vision.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's see, how much food to pack per trip, Glenda? Ooh, actually
as much as the boat will hold, pretty much. Right?
Well, I have an article in the galley on the cruisinglealea.com, and I've written a little bit of a formula. Well, haven't written a formula out, but it's kind of instructions on how to help you figure it out, because everybody eats differently and everybody eats different amounts and different foods, and
you'll find you eat
a lot more
differently at sea, and a lot more, about 50% more calories at sea than ashore. At least we do, and we still lose weight when we go on it.
It seems like when you're at sea, you're always hungry. You're always thinking of food. Your next meal, your next pee, and your next sleep. It's all about the watches and the food. Yeah, so pop over to the cruisinglealea.com and the galley, and it was provisioning. So I've got an article there, and that might help you get started to figure some stuff out. And if you have any questions, pop me an email, and I'll answer as best I can.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we got showers, and then there's laundry. You know, the perfect live-aboard boat. Do you have a washer and dryer on board?
No, but we do have a huge bag of dirty laundry.
Right now, it's so busy at work.
But there's laundromats. If we've never had to actually wash on the boat, do laundry on the boat, but if you do, it's just a bucket and a plumber's helper, one of those plumber's plunger thing, and some dish detergent or some laundry detergent. You can wash in salt water and rinse in fresh water.
I saw on the Sailing and Cruising Forum last week, there was a post on it was a bucket that had a hand crank on it for a little washing machine. It's probably like a 5-gallon bucket that you could dump your clothes in. And
how much do they get for that?
Yeah, who knows?
You can get a bucket for what, $5 and a plumber's helper for $3.99, or just a stick.
But you get a washer and dryer on board, and you're talking the whole water system and the power and electricity required and all of that stuff, and it's just certainly not practical on our boat. And
you can add as many conveniences to a boat as you want to, but you also have to consider the power demands and the expense. I mean, if money is no object,
and the time spent fencing the broken stuff,
you can let the servants worry about it.
When did you get servants?
Huh? No, I said if money is no object, you can let the servants worry about it.
Did you hire someone and not let me know?
Yeah, who do you think's been making the bed every morning?
Oh, I wouldn't classify you as a servant for that, darling. What type of meals do you eat? Oh, wow, that's a great question.
Usually, more often than not, it's just a can of chili, sometimes not even heated up.
Ew, that's not true. I have never let you.
No, that's never happened. Never. That has never happened.
Thank you.
Never, ever, ever.
We generally have the same breakfast every morning: oatmeal and craisins with
Or
a
blueberries. We
variation
had
of
blueberries yesterday.
additions, blueberries or a scoop of peanut butter or a handful of raisins or a handful of walnuts or
oatmeal more
any
often than
number of
not
things.
on the boat, but
Or of course
sometimes
pancakes.
if it's calm enough.
But in the summer months, we tend to like eating more fresh fruits when they're available, fresh vegetables and salads and stuff.
Yeah, we're doing it's seasonal with us now. Whatever's available during the season. So we load up on the salads and the vegetables and the fruits in the summer and the fall, and eat the salmon and halibut as much as possible. That's all the time now.
Yeah, yeah. And during the cooler months, we do the larger crock pots where we'll make stews and soups. And literally, we just take the crock pot and set it outside during the winter. And it's cold enough out there, we don't need a refrigerator. So we do shopping pretty much every day when we're in port.
But I think probably more what you want to know about import or at sea or all the time.
Yeah, and that's just it. We eat
at sea,
differently when we're at sea.
Yeah, a passage is rarely more than a month, rarely much more than a month. So it's fairly easy to stock up on fresh fruits and vegetables and then eat them as they turn or before they turn. You wind up at the end of the voyage with not much left but onions and cabbage.
And then you're into the canned stuff.
But and stuff in cans is not that bad for a short period of time.
But it depends on the weather, too.
It depends on the weather, how long the stuff will last. If you're headed for the tropics, it won't last as long as if you're headed north
for the colder weather,
for the cooler climates. So, and we use also some freeze-dried meals. Some Mountain House backpacking meals are pretty tasty if they're done right. So we use some of that stuff. As much natural food as possible because we're fairly health conscious and we like to eat our food in the most natural state possible. But
sometimes it's just not.
Just doable. Recognize that sometimes on a voyage, for a few days, you may have to eat stuff that's dried or processed in some way.
Because when the weather's really bad, and sleep is important, and staying alert is important, eating is important too, and sometimes a backpacking meal just to get something down. So you can't be too fussy all the time. But it changes. What we eat changes regularly. Let's see, a big monthly expense for us is health insurance. How do you all handle that? That's from Terry Kerr. That's Terry? A great question. That is a great question.
I'm exempt. I'm exempt.
That comes down to, I think, personal philosophy. And you touched on that in your cruising philosophy.
Yeah, well, I hate to weigh into this. It's very controversial, and it's just purely a personal choice for me. I've never been a big fan of insurance because I think it's betting against yourself. I prefer preventive maintenance to, risking the catastrophe and hoping someone else will pay for it. But be that as it may, I can't go too far into that because I'm a disabled veteran and I have free health care from the Veterans Administration. And I'm very happy with it, with what I get.
We just had that scare with you in Friday Harbor last year.
Yeah, and they pretty much took care of it all. The only problem is that being where we are, getting to the VA for minor things, it costs about $500 to go see my doctor. So I'm not going to go see my doctor for an ingrown toenail or, unless I really need to see the doctor. Anything that is related to my service-connected disabilities, I get the transportation for free. But if I want to see something for just ordinary healthcare, I have to pay for the transportation and the per diem because it involves an overnight stay in Juneau. You can't just drive over and drive back. So.
And when we were in Hawaii, we were paying what, $800?
It was $800
a month for the both of us for insurance. And I mean, you and I have both seen the doctors a couple of times since we've been cruising.
Yeah, we were paying $800 a month, and going to see the dentist for cleanings, and that's about it.
And you still had to pay.
Yeah, since then we've had a couple of major medical deals. I had a melanoma I had to have removed, and so.
Well,
I just talked directly to the doctor, and let's make a deal and see what we can do about this.
Yeah, if you go to the doctor and say, I have cash, let's talk, instead of going through the insurance companies, it's all way cheaper.
And Laura had an asthma attack. We had to go into Short. That was Crescent City, right?
That was
So we had
Crescent
to
City,
take her
yeah.
to the clinic there, and it was the same thing. We don't do insurance. We do cash. We just pay for it.
And they even gave us a discount because we paid cash.
That's right. They gave us a discount because we paid cash.
I don't think that whole deal didn't cost more than, what, $300? And I can't imagine.
Yeah, I think it was like $350 or something.
I'll bet you it would have been several $1,000s if we'd gone through all of the rigmarole and all the insurance and all of that stuff.
Well, my melanoma, I had to go see the dermatologist. We were in Friday Harbor. I had to go over to Anacortes, take the ferry, go see the guy in Anacortes. When I talked to him, you know, what he said, well, the normal way to take care of this, you go to the hospital, anesthesiologist, blah, blah, everything. We do the surgery at the hospital. And I said, well, what would that cost? $20,000? He goes, at least 20,000, probably more like 25 or even more. And and I said, well, okay, what's the alternative? He said, well, you know, I can do it right here if you're up for that. Just have the nurse, we'll numb you up locally and we'll take care of it. I said, how much would that cost? He says, oh, $1,200-1,500. I said, okay.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. And he did it, and I wrote him the check, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
So, but everybody has to make those decisions on their own. Everybody has their own individual health situation. You know, they may have some condition, or they may be prone to injuries, or they may have old injury. I got old injuries, but it's taken care of. So, and then there's the Affordable Care Act to consider, and all those other complexities of healthcare in the United States. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really give advice on that.
Yeah. Let's see. Jubbly, you were here last week too. Very cool. Thanks for coming back. Have a friend who discovered your cooking videos before I looked into sailing. She wanted to be here and talk, but prior obligations, so she wanted me to thank you for your cooking videos. Wow, thank you.
You need to do more of those.
I absolutely need to do more. There's a lot of stuff I need to do. All it takes is time.
Well, you keep adding stuff to your list. Every time I turn around, you're volunteering to do something else.
I'm volunteering. Let's see. Haley. My gosh.
Hallie.
I keep calling her Haley. It's Hallie. MV Hallie. Dr. Hill just got back from his hip
Getting
surgery.
his hip replaced. He's ready to go.
Came back dancing into the clinic, and he is ready to go. We're going to start stocking Hallie up on Tuesday. I'm going to start putting supplies together, and we're talking about doing our first trip out to Kaufman Cove, Thorn Bay, possibly Port Protection, second or third week of June. And we're going to be doing some videoing on that.
Juho wants to know, what convenience do we miss the most? You know, it's hard to say convenience for me because I've been living aboard for 26 years now. A lot of years. I've been living aboard 25 or 26 years. How many years? This is 2015, so that makes it 25 years. Yeah. And so the conveniences, I haven't been around. If there's any convenience to living in a house that I know of. The ability to spread out your stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we just got out of it.
So the whole thing is, you know, eliminate the stuff. There's no convenience to be lost. No, it's, you know, it's nice to, you know, stroll from the bedroom into the shower with just a towel wrapped around you.
You don't have to worry about it.
Not have to put on your boots and trudge through the snow to get to the showers and get there and you forgot your 8 quarters that you need.
Or you only have 7.
Or you only have 7, or one of them turns out to be Canadian and it won't work. So,
I don't know. I mean,
it's all part of the fun. It's all part of the fun.
And you get some great views on the way outside of the shower too. And it was nice having a freezer and being able to pull frozen stuff out of the freezer when we were house sitting.
Bring ice cream home.
And bring ice cream home and
not have to eat the whole thing before it melted.
But those are things that we don't do when we're on the boat. We are eating a lot better again now that we're on the boat again.
Yeah.
Because we were getting ice cream and
Laura's not, you know, stuff. I think I'll bake cookies. That's the, you know.
End up giving most of them away, but I do miss having an oven sometimes, yes. But I find we just eat a lot of stuff we shouldn't eat when we have those things, the refrigerator and the oven and all of that.
Hey, coffee dog, did you bring us a brew? You showed up without it?
You showed up.
Got to bring enough to share.
We have a question, what fishing gear do you use on the boat? We have some cool fishing gear.
We have some cool fishing gear. doesn't work worth a damn.
Well, that's not true.
Well,
we don't know how to use it.
It fishes just fine. It's a little short on catching. Basically, I use a hand line with different lures, but we have
we have a rod and reel.
We have a rod, real nice rod and reel, and a few years back we decided we would rather pay the money and have the stuff than have the money, so we bought good fishing gear, and
we have it.
We haven't caught anything with it. That's the problem. We're gonna try. I've got an Alaska hunting, fishing, trapping license, and so I'm good to go. We got the gear, we got the boat, we got the license.
Probably gonna go out and do some fishing this year.
Gonna try. Got a lot of tips from the local fishermen.
And that's just it. You talk to different folks, and they all have different ideas of exactly what's going to work.
And it always goes something like this: "What are you using?" And I'll tell them, "Oh, you can't catch anything with that. What you need is a cedar plug, a white buck, a silver spoon. Here, let me give you one of these. It's guaranteed to catch." I've been given more surefire lures than I know what to do with, and not one of them.
Not one of them we've not had. I think we just go too slow.
We just go too slow when we're trolling at 5 knots, I imagine.
And certainly around here, you go any slower, the sea lions and killer whales will be picking the fish off.
Yeah, you have to be alert, because if you hook a fish and you're dragging it behind you, the sea lions will be right there, man. In fact, they'll come over to the sailboat, and circle around behind, and then pop their heads up, disappointed, like, "Hey, where's the fish?"
Thanks for all the fish. Lost Minded.
I asked you if you guys have been up to Tenakee Springs. Yes. We were 4th of July. What you guys did while you were there, we hiked all over the place up there, and we met some people and played with some dogs, and we ate in the Party Time Bakery.
I love the Party Time
and Bakery. We had a burger at the Blue Moon Cafe with, what was her name? Rosie. And went to the library.
If you go to Tenakee, you have got to stop in and chat with Rosie. She's lived there for,
it was 55 years when we were there last in 2013. And
talk about some stories about old time Alaska.
She came to Tenakee Springs as a mail order bride from the Philippines in 1955. Was that 55?
55, somewhere around there. Yep.
Sometime a long time ago. And boy, she knows everything about Tenakee Springs.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you order a burger, and so she digs under a table and pulls out a box of spuds, picks out a spud, and takes it back into the kitchen and starts peeling it.
Yeah, this is not fast food.
It's not fast food.
She likes chatting while she's making your meal, and you have to be prepared for that. It's small town Tenakee Springs. They like chatting with their customers.
They're not in a hurry. So
yeah, it's going to take you probably about an hour to an hour and a half to get out, eat and get out of there. Yeah. So just be prepared for that. But yeah, great food, great conversation.
Party Time Bakery, same thing. The proprietors are a young couple, and they make some really good breakfast. We have really great breakfast there.
Yep. Let's see, Diver Dan. Sorry, Diver Dan, I didn't acknowledge I saw you pop in, and hello back.
How did you and Laura meet?
I sent him my resume.
I put an ad in the paper. She sent me her resume. I called her in for an interview. Interviewed her. She interviewed pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Just pretty good?
Enough for me to call her back for a second interview.
So Chuck was my boss.
Ultimately, I put her in charge of a warehouse, and then I promoted her to replace her boss to run a department. And then once we started dating, we realized one of us had to leave the company, because the rules were that, you can't date somebody who works directly under your supervision.
So I left.
And she was my best department head.
He was higher up.
I figured I was making more money. You were the one that had to go. Besides which, I had at that time 15 years or more than 15 years seniority.
Make sure it doesn't do that. Yeah, it was best off for you to stay and me to go. It worked out better that way. Let's see.
Yeah, too. Have a hot coffee dog brought some. Oh, wait,
yeah,
hold on.
but you don't have. the KFSK mug. Ooh.
And that's last year's mug.
This is last year's mug.
Every year they have a new mug. Maybe we can figure out some way
to do a video. They have a
drink.
Some water.
We should figure out a way to have someone win one of these.
They have the line of mugs up along the studio, and I would love to get Matt or somebody to tell a story about the mugs.
Oh, we'll see if we can get them.
Was the dog.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Do weather
Rosie, Lost-Minded Rosie. Yep.
Where you at?
Bang Stick. Hey, Bang Stick. Do weather conditions at sea make you wish for a bigger boat, or is smaller better? That depends on the boat.
I have friends that have done 30 years in the Navy, and
they think we're crazy.
They think we're crazy. Some of them do. CC, my friend, was a submariner for 25 years. He doesn't. He thinks it's great. But a couple of the surface Navy friends that I know, one of them said that he would never go to sea in anything less than a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier.
Yeah, but he had cooks. I mean, he could go down to the mess and have the meals all made. And
those Navy guys know how to live.
Yeah,
they really do.
Sure do.
I was in the Army, of course, but I had some experience on troop ships and stuff. I tell you what, even the E6s have it pretty good. Never mind the Chiefs. The Chief mess is nice. Anyway, yeah. No, we've never wished for a bigger boat because
we can't.
No, it's the weather. No, let's
address
the actual question. The weather, when the weather has gotten really bad, we heave to, go down below, and just wait. And it's never been so bad that we wish for a bigger boat. Because frankly, if it gets really bad, size does not matter.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah. Titanic.
Titanic. Well, Titanic, iceberg. That wasn't really.
Well, it's because it was fog.
Oh, there you go. But I wouldn't want.
Edmund Fitzgerald, I guess, is the best example.
Let's see. I need that mug. Are these ones?
Yeah, you still get those. That's last year's.
That's last year's. KFSK.org. Pop on the website. I'm sure there's somewhere you can pop them in.
If not, we'll figure out a way.
Yeah. Contact us. We'll figure a way to get you one. There's all sorts of cool mugs.
They do a new one every year. The one from this year is real bright and colorful. That year it was black and white. The one before that was really a gorgeous.
Really cool.
Yeah, but every year it's different. They have a contest for, and the new mug comes out in October, I think, or September.
Yeah, October for the fundraiser.
Let's see. LOL, like Rosie would be fun to talk with. Yes, Rosie is a lot of fun to talk with. That's not what she said, Lee McGinnis. What?
Let's see.
Would sailing be tolerable alone?
I don't. I have no interest in doing any single-handing myself.
I mean, I could do it alone, but it's a lot more fun with somebody, else. Like.
That's because we take care of each other. We make each other coffee. We support each other. We're a team, and I like that much more than just being.
It's a team sport for us. It's a team sport for us. Yeah. Have you ever used a drogue? No, we never used a drogue. Never used a drogue either.
We've never been in bad enough weather. I think wind velocity I think the worst we've ever been in was probably close to 50. I'm trying to think going down the Pacific coast.
If that, 50,
40, high 40s anyway.
High 40s, maybe 50 knots. I don't think it got any worse than that.
And I don't know what kind of wind speed it would take for us to consider putting a drogue out. I mean, it'd have to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
For us to do that. I think the full keel makes a big difference.
Every boat's different. A lightweight boat, maybe a drogue would be a good idea, or maybe not. I don't know. It depends, and you have to make sure your deck hardware will handle it. So maybe that's a question for Lynn and Larry, but not for us, because we've just never
been in that pool.
We've always been very careful to choose our season and our weather windows and try to avoid the bad weather whenever possible.
It's just
we did make a couple of mistakes. We were late getting down the coast that one time, and so we had some stormy weather. but not like it was a hurricane or anything like that.
No, but you pick your times and you check the weather.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times before you go, and you just
hedge your
best
bets.
you can.
Hedge your bets. Pick the best possible time to make the passage and watch the weather report before you go and try to get a nice big wide weather window of high pressure or favorable winds or whatever it is you need.
Let's see, Lost Minded THC, where did you get your French press? Well, we have 2.
We have 2. One of them is one of them we got in Friday Harbor in a little gourmet cooking shop, a little gourmet kitchen supply store, and it's just a Thermos brand.
It's a stainless steel Thermos brand French press, which
and the other one is Kona from
Idyllic Homes.
Idyllic Homes.
And the
it's
link
IDYLC Homes. Yeah, IDYLC Homes.com,
and that link is on in the description of the How to Make Coffee in a French Press video. There's a link to there, and I think the price for a glass. Well, was it glass or?
It's glass.
It was glass. It's supposed to be unbreakable, but we broke our very first one. That's why we went to the stainless steel one, and
they work the same way. And that Kona one is a high quality item that worked really good. Came with an extra screen.
Yeah, and I think very reasonably priced for what you get.
Yeah.
So, and the stainless steel one was, God, it was like about $50-$60, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was expensive.
It was pricey, but it's been worth it too.
I think if I got the glass one, I would wrap it with a light line or something like that to give it a cushion in case you bang it.
Yeah, do some nice decorative work on it. Let's see.
It's a drogue. Where did you get the French press? Where did we get the French? We answered that, right?
Yeah. Hello from Toronto, Canada. Hey, Dans. Video releases on YouTube seems to be a bit less these days. True. Frederick, yes.
Yeah, it's been tough.
Chuck just got back from Vermont, so he was gone for
I was
10
gone
days.
for a week. I just, day before yesterday, uploaded the part 4 of Lealea Down the Inside Passage. And so that's up and available now.
And if you've been sailing with us for the last several years, we tend to kind of drop off the map this time of the year anyway, because we're generally out enjoying the sunshine and cruising. When it's nice out, go play on your boat.
Yeah, but we're going to be in town most of the years. I mean, we're going to be in and out, but we're going to be around. So we're going to make every effort to upload weekly. And we're going to try and have these hangouts on a regular basis, if not weekly, but we're going to have them. I mean, let us know. You think with weekly is too frequent? We'll cut it back.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe once a month for a while, but...
and we're thinking, would a weeknight be better? Like, I don't know what night, but if we did it at night,
if we did it in really the evening, late. Or Saturday evening, later in the evening on Saturday, but there's dealing with the East Coast, West Coast time. And
this is 10 p.m. in Europe. UTC time. It's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We do this, and it's what is it, 6 on the East Coast? We do it it's 5 on the East Coast. Anyway, if you guys can come up with a better day or time, day of the week or time of day
to do these, let us
know.
We'll
do our best.
Give us a suggestion. Yeah.
We'll do our best. I'm hoping to finish up this Lealea series here. And one of the reasons is those videos have taken longer is because Laura wasn't along to operate the camera. So most of the footage I have is crap.
You've done an amazing job with what you had. You got back and I saw what you had. I'm like, oh, are you going to be able to do anything with that? I didn't think you were going to be able to.
It's been more challenging than usual putting that particular one together, but it's worthwhile to do because the Inside Passage is a popular trip. And I think a lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of fun doing it, Tom and I, and Gary for the first few days. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Can I ask how much you spent fitting out Lealea for your crossing? Understand if you don't want to tell, though. Oh,
where's that?
Oh, the very, very top there.
Oh, how much you spent fitting out Lealea for your crossings?
The first trip.
Nothing. The first trip we got the we installed the water maker and we put and we got the autopilot, but mainly it's just groceries would run about what, $500 for the
Well, for that passage, I think I spent about $600 for stocking
in
up
Honolulu.
in Honolulu for
Yeah.
stocking up on groceries. But we had been preparing for that trip for quite a while. So, I mean, over the course of
Yeah.
several years, we were buying stuff and installing it.
Yeah, so it's going to depend on the boat. I mean, you want to make sure that you have the sails, the suit of sails you need. You want to make sure that your sheets and halyards are in good condition, if not brand new. That's pretty cheap to just run new halyards and new sheets, and you can do it in an afternoon. It's not labor intensive or anything like that. You should check your rig out or have a professional check it to make sure it's in good condition. And as long as the boat's in good condition, it doesn't take much else. The basic equipment you should already have. So when we get ready to go on a long voyage, what's going to happen is the boat's going to come out of the water. We're going to put a coat of paint on the bottom. New running rigging. We'll inspect everything, make sure everything's in good working order. And that's about it. And it'll probably cost us about the haul out and everything. Nowadays, prices here in Alaska, $400, $500 if I.
But all of that depends on the size of your boat. All of it.
Yep.
So
the bigger the boat, the more it costs by the foot as you go up. It means heavier lines cost more money. Yeah, everything costs more.
I saw a question further up. Chuck, what's your favorite cigar?
Punch. I like Punch, although I sometimes order cheaper one, not cheaper, smaller ones like Punch Robustos, or there's a new one, this little tiny. It's like a short story. Was it Partagas makes the short story?
Is it Partagas?
Is it Partagas? I don't know which one it is, but Punch is what I usually smoke. I've been on Punch for years. The Punch, about a 44 ring, 7-inch long cigar. I like the best.
That comes down to how
EMS
much time
wrapper,
you
by the
usually
way.
have to smoke it. So.
Yeah, well.
Leanne. Oh, where'd she go? Leanne, something about anchoring.
Here.
Yeah, move that up.
Let me get this here.
Sorry, Leanne.
I'm going to try to answer all the questions here.
How challenging is anchoring and sailing, motoring in Alaska versus other places you have been? It's been a steep learning curve.
Well, we come from Hawaii where there are no tides and no currents. And you come to Alaska where they have 24, 25-foot tides and currents that run 6 or 7 knots in places. So I learned to deal with that, but it's just part of seamanship. Take it easy and go slow and learn it a little at a time.
And stop and ask directions.
Stop and ask directions. Soak up as much local knowledge as you can. The first thing I always do is go to the closest bar to the waterfront, sit down and have a beer, start talking to the locals. Harbor office, a lot of times they hang out in the morning over coffee in the harbor office, a lot of places, as they do here. So we go there and talk to the locals.
See, do you have any ideas for how to earn a bit of income while cruising?
Nope.
There's all sorts of stuff you can do.
There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Depends on your skills. A good one is sewing. Get a heavy-duty sewing machine, keep it on your boat, learn how to use it, learn how to do canvas repairs, sail repairs, make little canvas doodads. That's a good one. We don't do that, but that's a good one.
If you know how to cut hair?
If you know how to cut hair, I suppose they tell me.
Dog grooming. My gosh.
Dentistry.
Everybody has their own skill sets, and you just have to figure out how to best utilize them while you're out. Everybody's always looking for different things.
Instead of what we think, I think the best way to make the most amount of money while cruising, if you're in the United States anyway, is to have a good work ethic and go get a job. If you pull into a port, you're going to be in a port for a while. Go get a job and know how to show up on time, ready for work, and put in a full day's work for a full day's pay. Those are commodities in short supply, we find. And if you can do that, you're instantly in demand all over town. So
what is it? 80%? You're better than 80% of the workforce out there?
That's 50% of the workforce. You're in the top 50% if you can show up. You're in the top 25% if you can show up on time. You're in the top 20% if you can show up on time, ready to work. Top 10% if you can show up on time, ready to work.
That's pretty sad.
And the top 2 or 3% if you can do that and still put in a good day's work without stealing from your employer. So
for some reason we have found that's hard
yeah.
to find these days.
We've run into a lot of people who are trying to make a living cruising by writing or by doing videos. That's getting increasingly popular. And you know, there's lots of people on YouTube that are doing it. Hey, we're doing it. But the amount of money is only really a tiny fraction of what you need to maintain a lifestyle.
Well, compared to the amount of time you put
compared to the amount of time putting into it.
The time to make a video.
The best return on your time is to go work for wages or perform a direct service or sell a product, you know, doing canvas work or something like that. Writing books and doing videos may or may not yield you an income, but if it does, it's because you put way too much work into it.
Well, we could make a lot more money through YouTube and through our website if we worked 8 or 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I've said for quite a while, if we were putting in the same amount of hours we were putting in Hawaii when we were working for a living, we'd be making a nice income at it. But that's not what we want to do.
We want to be able to go out and cruise.
And then there's, you know, in order to have something to show people, you have to go out and do it.
Yeah.
So while you're doing it, you aren't making money.
You aren't making money. It's one or the other. You could do one or the other. Let's see. Do you have a blog? Yes, we do.
CruisingLealea.com.
Yep.
The logbook.
The logbook, which goes back to 2007. Kind of the beginning. I'm trying to remember the very first log entry was in Friday Harbor.
Yeah.
I think.
Just about everything is on our website or in our videos. We've been pretty open about it. And every time we have a thought, every time we learn something, we try to share it. And every time we make a mistake, we share that so that hopefully you can avoid it.
So you can follow kind of more real time on the logbook, or we also have Cruising Lealea on Facebook. Chuck and I'll post on there, not as regularly as we probably should, but we are in there several times a week, and I'll post more pictures of kind of what's going on in town and the animal pictures and just more stuff that we're doing on a daily basis on Facebook, just because it's easier. What do you use to edit your videos together?
It was, the original one was Sony Vegas Movie Studio Platinum, but the software's been upgraded. I think it's called Sony Movie Studio now, but it's the Sony software, Sony Vegas Movie Studio Platinum, I think is what it was.
And we get several questions about our camera.
Yeah, I like it. It's very intuitive and easy to use, and doesn't take a lot of horsepower on a laptop to run it. So
you didn't say that when you first started using it.
Yeah, I did.
I don't think you did.
There are some things. Do the tutorials. It's not that hard.
It takes a bit of time to get efficient. Internet access while cruising? No. That's why we enjoy cruising. No cell phones, no internet access, no news.
Every time you pull into a port, you're going to have internet access, though. Almost every marina has it now, wireless.
Well, not in Alaska.
For a fee. Yeah, they do. Well, not these small towns, but I mean, they have it. They have Wi-Fi at Wrangell Harbor. They have it here. They have it in Juneau. Any sizable town has it in the harbor or nearby. So, you know, it may mean taking your computer up to the library or to the pub or the coffee shop or whatever. But internet access while we're cruising, no. I mean,
see, the thing
just
is,
stay home if you need to be connected.
If you have internet access, you're going to spend your time on the computer. If you're out cruising, you're supposed to be. What was that viral picture the other day? Some guy was texting on his phone while this whale was coming up right in front of him. Why would you do that? You're supposed to be out enjoying yourself.
Or you see people. There was one where ladies at a ball game on the phone, and all of a sudden the ball comes flying and hits her right in the face.
If you're going to be there, be there.
And we were at breakfast this morning at the Fisherman's Net Cafe brunch after we got done at the weigh-in station. We went over there. There's 4 people sitting at a breakfast table in the Fisherman's Net in Petersburg, all 4 of them ignoring each other on their phones. That's fine if that's you, but it's not us. And when we go out, we're out we like being unplugged and disconnected from
Yeah.
everything.
And especially when you're out in mid-ocean, you should be paying attention to the sounds of the boat and paying attention to the boat, not watching movies and listening to your iPod and all of that stuff. It's
we watched a movie once when we were at sea,
and we only got partway through it.
I got partway through it before the battery died on the laptop. But you know, the whole thing was
you got the lights.
There's other things to do.
Going, and there's other things to do.
There's other things to do.
I just think it's dangerous to be listening to something like that when you should be listening to what's going on in the boat and what the boat's telling you. What's
going on outside the boat. Yeah. If you're on watch at night, you don't want to have earbuds in, playing a video game. You need to be on watch.
You need to be on watch.
Because ships can come up over the horizon and run you right down in about 15 minutes if you're not paying attention. And if you can't hear them coming and for some reason don't know they're there, they can sneak up on you in a surprisingly short period of time. So we don't even listen to iPods at sea when we're on watch. Off watch only. So
well, and that's only during the day, not even at night.
Yeah.
And no earbuds or anything at night. It's just too important to be aware of what's going on. It is 11 minutes after 2, and I think we were only supposed to be on for an hour. You want to go ahead and sign off? I have a couple of things to take care of this afternoon, and we've got some.
Yeah, what are we doing this afternoon? You have to. Oh, we have to go back down to the weigh-in station this afternoon.
Yeah, we're going to volunteer some more time at the weigh-in station.
Volunteer some more time at the Salmon Derby weigh-in station, and then we're going to dinner tonight, aren't we?
Then we have dinner tonight.
No restaurants in this town, but dinner parties. So that's what we're going to do.
So once again, thanks everybody. We got 47 viewers. That just astounds me, and it has been so cool chatting with you, Coffee Dog, Glenn. My gosh, can't wait to finally meet up with you one of these days and go for a beer. Looking forward to meeting with you. And once again, thank you to KFSK for loaning us this studio. And if anyone cares to do a quick donation to help keep the studio running, there's a little fan funding card in the top corner. Whatever's donated in the next 24 hours, we will pass on to KFSK.
KFSK is going to be doing a broadcast, and I'm going to be doing a radio show on Wednesday. So you can catch the live stream of that audio on kfsk.org, and we'll announce that on Facebook and Twitter, and if you're signed up for any of that, Google Plus, we'll post it up there so you can find it if you want to.
Next week, same time, Saturday, 1 to 2. If you guys have a thought about that, let us know if it'd be better in the evening or different day or different time. We're just kind of running with this. We've got enough people to make it interesting to show up. So
yeah,
there we go. All right.
So in the end, aloha no kako, hui ho. Aloha indeed to all of us. Until we meet again, I'm Chuck Rose.
And I'm Laura.
Cruising Lealea.
And we'll see you guys next week.
A little bit crazy.